All righty, everyone. Well, good evening. Welcome to America Weather Streaming Channel. Well, we are talking about some more strong storms. We have kind of a system that is actually bringing strong storms during the day yesterday across some parts of the Midwest, and also across parts of the plains. Mainly some big hail. We have a few hail pictures to share with you guys, and then of course as we go into the day tomorrow, we could see yet the same system, maybe producing again some more strong and maybe even some severe thunderstorms, especially across parts of the Ohio River Valley. In the meantime, though, what we got going on right now is kind of a little bit of a scattered mismatch, more or less, of active weather. We're not seeing one continuous line of severe weather. Rather, we're seeing kind of more or less groups of the severe weather. If we wanted to, not get into the technical terms of it, groups, I guess you could call it. And it stretches all the way from southern Illinois back down through central Missouri, and then heading its way all the way into Tulsa, Oklahoma, before it turns down towards the OKC area and goes even further on our radar, all the way down towards the Red River Valley and over to Dallas Fort Worth. So, obviously, if you are flying a plane today, it's going to be a little bit tricky for you, as some of these storms, especially the southern ones, as we tend to see with these big hail producing thunderstorms, is they have some very high cloud tops, which, of course, if you are an aluminum aircraft going at 500 miles an hour, you don't always necessarily want to fly into those. So, there's your fun fact for the day. All righty, everyone. So, kind of the main area that we've been taking a look at throughout the evening has actually been down around Missouri, around the St. Louis area. And I believe one of us here is actually from there. I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. But let's just take a quick look over there at parts of the St. Louis area. They had a storm that made its way through just north of the city of St. Louis, affecting some of those north suburbs there, creating a little bit of a ground stop there at the Lambert Field Airport, but nothing too unusual when you have these types of storms moving through. Did produce a little bit of hail as well, but then also at the same time, about an hour or so ago, we were watching yet another storm that was pushing its way through Jefferson City, and now it is located in the far western suburbs, I guess, of the St. Louis metro. Right now, no tornado warning on that, but have at least some signature there. That is rotating, and if you remember from last about this type of a setup, again, when we get sometimes these big hail storms, well, they got rotation within them, and sometimes that rotate all the way down to the ground, and thus we get ourselves a tornado. But in this right now is at least not necessarily all the way down to the lower levels, though it has cycled through a little bit. So we have buddies from the St. Louis area. Tell us about that beautiful storm that you had push its way through.
Yeah, so it actually went through, like you said, about like an hour ago, and there was the sirens that went through, but you know, I mean, like, and well, I mean, like, I know, like, in terms of storm reports, I'm not sure if there's actually any actual truth if it actually, because I mean, like, I know, like, it probably didn't touch ground exactly, but I mean, like, it's tough to say because those and like the storm reports still have to come through, but there was some hail, like he said, and here's here I'm gonna share my here. Hold on. Sorry, I'm gonna share my screen here. So right here we can see there was about a 1-inch hail report in like the Wildwood area, and then there was like some strong high winds. There's like and so like the main threats were the actual wind and hail. But yeah.
Raining dogs? I hear a dog barking.
Yeah.
Didn't know if
yeah, my dog.
my attempt at a joke. That was a good one.
Yeah, he doesn't like the storm.
Interesting though is I believe what St. Louis holds the record most extensive hailstorm. Wasn't that what back in like 2000 or 2000? Pretty big hailstorm that went through St. Louis.
Yeah. So back in 2011, it was the Good Friday tornado of 2011, and it went through the airport. Kind of the same path tonight. Not really exactly the same path, but and that actually caused a lot of damage up there on like the northern side of like the St. Louis County area.
Well, one of those those of you who are in the Great Plains, of course, it is no stranger for you guys, but when you get a little bit further out east, like tend to so and a big hail event for us is hail maybe about 1 to an inch and a half, in diameter. And obviously, you go into about 2 inches or so, but statistically, it's more or less the central that really sees those really big hail events there. And in fact, someone was showing a picture to me earlier, before we started doing this here. Someone got a really good jagged hailstone there, obviously water droplets. In terms of, let me ask you this question, since you live around the St. Louis area, kind of a normal thunderstorm event?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. Yeah, I'm like, this is pretty typical. But actually, going back to the storm reports, I noticed here. If you look right here, there's some tree branches down. So that may just be straight line winds, but like I mean, like I'm like, there's a chance that that's more than that. And then back here, toward like west, like there's more hail, like that's like 1.5 inches. But I mean, like in terms of like the actual severe, it's nothing too crazy. But obviously, like there's going to be more this evening. So we got to keep an eye to the sky, and yep, and stay updated.
The interesting thing is, and I always notice, it seems like every March and April, whenever you get kind of your first really kind of big significant storm event, it's always the tree branches. You get a lot of those that get knocked down. We can knock over the winter or whatnot. But wait, you guys really haven't had much of a winter down there, though, have you? It's been pretty quiet everywhere.
Yeah, I mean it was basically condensed into about 2 weeks of winter. We had some really cold temperatures and some snow, but there was one storm that was outside that window. But yeah, it's been a very, very warm, and also I would say pretty dry winter overall. Like we're still like in a drought, somewhat. So we need to, actually, but I mean, like so. But I know like in terms of like actual severe weather. I mean, like you know, I'd say we're probably going to see, probably some more actual, I know, like, I mean, like, yeah, I know, like, in like April, we're going to see some more cells that could pop up, like, because I mean, you know, typically, we usually, see, like severe weather all the way through like the end of May. Yeah.
Hey Timmy, can you
So,
pull up that severe thunderstorm warning just north of Springfield, Missouri? It's looking like it is
Missouri, that's
hail of about 1 inch, and it's looking like it's producing some really big hail. So that's something to look out for. And it looks like that thunderstorm warning just got extended a bit into counties further northeast, and that's looking like that definitely will produce some more hail as we see it progress.
Possibly with this guy, and not only that, but it also has the tornado possible on it. In fact, if you were to look at this guy around just Bolivar, I believe is how they pronounce it down there. Springfield, Missouri, not too far away from Joplin, which for those of you who like Trento history is a example. But yeah, all things considered, certainly producing some pretty decent sized hail. In fact, when you take a look at some of these reflectivity returns here, I mean, they're getting kind of hail. Now, as far as some of that low level rotation, it looks like it might be trying to organize a little bit, and I think that's why it's a tag on it there. But absolutely, yeah. That's
Yeah, you can see the debris
wrong,
ball on the correlation coefficient as well. I don't know if you're able to pull that up, but it definitely is producing some good sized hail. It'll be interesting to see the
Yeah,
storm
we'll pull that up
reports
here.
and
Let's
any
take a
pictures we
look.
can see.
That cell, when it went through Kansas, the biggest was 2.75 inches. So it's
Wow.
almost 3 inch.
Oh, is
size
that
hail.
a storm?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it reaches that.
Yeah, there's your CC there. Yeah, certainly quite a
Tennis
bit of
ball.
drop. Well, let's take a look at the VIL. I'm getting it up. Let's see what this bad boy has. As soon as it loads. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we've got some 1 inches already coming in here. Actually, there's a couple 1 inch hail return end of it there. A little much to see here, but the little icon just popped up here on this end. Quarter size hail and about 6-hour wind briefly from the emergency department there. So it's two actually of it. There's 1 inch hail right at the edge of this thing. I'd tell you what, I bet just a couple miles really getting some good hail though. It's looking this what? What's the do they have a forward speed on this thing? Anyone know?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Let's see.
Was that the one near Jefferson City?
Moving. Yeah, this is one moving. We're out by field here. They say it's moving east at about 60 miles. These storms are also kind of moving it today too. Certainly.
Yeah, it's moving at about it's about 44 knots, whatever that is in miles, per hour. But
Looks like it
Bring
says
it up
the
to- well,
report
it's
says
already
about
right.
60 mile an hour, it looks like. According to the severe thunderstorm warning on that cell, it says that you'd be moving northeast of Fairplay to near Boulevard, moving east at 60 mile an hour. So clearly these storms are moving at a very fast pace.
and also
across
something to keep actual, I'm like the hail report on like the Radarscope app is showing 4 inches. I don't know how accurate that is, but I don't know if it's an actual report.
Well,
but-
we do that. I mean, you said this is the same one though that produced what 2 and 2.25 inch size hail all the way out in Kansas.
Yeah, that line did
That's a beauty of a report.
2 hours ago.
Nice.
We just got a tornado warning that popped up here in Oklahoma on the cell, on that cell
Oklahoma.
south of Winona. You can kind of it's radar indicated
Little boat throw there, yeah.
right there to the
See, kind of right.
southeast.
Yeah, if you look at those velocity
Well, that is-
the velocity scanner, you can definitely tell that there's a nice bit of rotation there for sure.
Custody.
Yeah.
It's not the right one.
It's, it's moving
Oh yeah.
45 mile an hour to the east.
Yeah.
These things are flying.
Yeah, it's confirmed too. So that's hitting someone.
Oh, it's a confirmed count.
Yeah, that's the first one I
Well,
saw
let's
that
take a
was
look and see
confirmed.
if we can see it on the.
Hmm.
Well, let's see if we can maybe get our listeners there get a pretty good look as to. We got there. Yeah, wait a second. Oh, yeah, well, see, this does kind of lag behind a few minutes. That may be it. Anyone disagree? If it's confirmed, I've plugged it right there,
I'm just showing radar confirmed.
which means
yeah, it says it's been observed on like the radar.
oh,
Well, you can kind of tell a little
so
bit
let's
when
say
you
we
set in
had that thing
motion
moving.
that it looked like the classific or the the correlation coefficient does kind of pop and then go out. So I mean, it's a possibility that it could just pop in and popped out real quick from that storm.
A little spin up tornado on the edge. Well, that's Barnesville in about 7 minutes from the radar scan, which would have been about what, 3 minutes ago? So about 4 minutes on Barnesville there. A small little town, less than 1,000 people there. As parts of and have these bunch of little
Indian
small towns everywhere. You know, a
Indian
little bit of
country.
some Boeing.
It's a reservation,
There
I
you go.
think.
Osage County, was it the Osage Reserve up there?
Yeah. So it's just
Or
yeah,
the
it's on that
Osage Nation?
southeast side of it. Yep.
Mhm.
Looking at the latest radar scan here, the coefficient doesn't show it quite as much, but I'll tell you what. Yeah, it's probably. Let's see here what the velocity show. Again, pretty rural areas. Sometimes these correlation coefficients, it's a little, especially this time of the year. There's not really any crops in the ground yet. And if it's out in the middle of nowhere, doesn't have necessarily a whole lot of stuff to pick. Sometimes still doesn't, we'll still get a signature most of the time. But on the velocity, if this thing is any clearer there, because that is doing pretty good there. And yeah, there it is. Yeah, I would certainly say. But that certainly
Yeah, it's
rotate there.
Yeah,
Right up on bar.
that's some nice tight rotation there.
Is there? I bet you the hail lift this thing up around what is that? Oscar? Sorry, but don't know, man. North Winona. Actually some pretty good hail there right now. I bet probably what? Let's see if anybody on MPing has anything from up around there. And not only that, but that storm actually West St. Louis is looking pretty decent. But obviously this one has the moment here. What I want to see. That looks flashing right at the moment. No one said anything about hail, but my guess is that thing is certainly producing some hail. Without
Yeah,
a doubt.
yeah.
So,
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
no, by all means, go ahead.
Yeah, so like the hail it's showing is around 1.75 inches. So, for that cell there, so I mean, like it's producing, some pretty big hail. But like the main threat, like we're talking about, is like the tornado signature on the radar. We're seeing right now.
Yeah, and to reiterate, if you're watching, what
Yeah,
you
that-
need to do, if you are in a tornado warning, you need to take shelter immediately. Get to the lowest level of a building that you can and inside, away from any windows that could fly in. And ideally, it would be best to have something to protect your head with. So make sure you are taking cover if this is in your area, or if it's not, if you know someone in this area, let them know. Let them know to take cover immediately. It could save someone's life.
Absolutely
Immediately.
correct, especially we're gonna check here is tell you what. Yeah, there we go. So we're also tracking that storm to the west there of the St. Louis area. I was looking for it on the radar. Still no tornado warning on that, at least as of right. It does some rotation within the storm, as these supercell thunderstorms tend to have other supercells. But right now, the main one is this guy. We're north of out in the Osage County area. Actually, I think we're just a little bit east of that here. But one firm tornado report, we did kind of see what looked like the signature of it there on the right. It looks like it's still holding out there on at least some of the correlation coefficient. As a matter of fact, if we can't maybe pop out, seen anything either on the old social media or too early for that? Yeah. That thing is looking really good. Really good. All right. So that in mind, hang with this here for another radar scan or two, and then we'll probably go stuff over in Dallas. Looks like they're getting some good hail down there, 1.5-inch size hail, parts of the Dallas area. We'll hang with there for just a quick more moment. Another radar scan or two, and let's see what it does. Anybody got a fun weather fact?
For what?
All right.
Texas?
On the 50th anniversary of the super outbreak in 1970, 2 days away. Actually, less than 2 days away. For those who love your tornado outbreaks, that was the original super outbreak. That one, the big F5 down in Xenia, Ohio. In fact, if I correctly, I'll have to double check this, but I'm pretty certain that the Indiana has only ever had like 3 F5 tornadoes. All of them happened during that outbreak. I believe. I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Let's take a look at rotation. It does certainly look like we still are seeing that rotation there with this thunderstorm. We are way north of Tulsa, pretty much right over Barnesdale. This was observed at one point. Noting it is observed.
Now, I have a question. Is this
Anybody know?
is this radar coming from the app or from someone's desktop?
Yeah, mine.
Yours, okay.
Yeah. Why, are you trying to move it?
No, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, yeah. So we're in the middle. But if anyone else, but you can share.
Mhm.
If you got something you want to show, by all means, please take over. Mine's just kind of the default. There
There we go. I've been expecting. Yeah, I've been expecting this all day, pretty much for Indiana. Because I do, in case if anybody wonders, I do cover the state of Indiana. Severe thunderstorm watch has been issued by the National Weather Service here to Indiana till 3 o'clock this morning, early this morning, coming up for tomorrow morning. Looks like it covers most of central Indiana, a little bit of southern Indiana. Obviously, a couple tornadoes could be possible, especially since we've seen those storms over there in Illinois, in western Illinois. They're just kind of creeping along northeast. And so we're kind of expecting, especially since the warm front is pushing through, expecting definitely some storms to start popping up in the early morning hours. And so we'll be basically kind of on alert for that, which this is a little bit more, I was more expecting, I guess, a tornado watch. So thank goodness that we've got a little bit more less of a severe weather threat. But either way, still, it's always good to stay alert and be prepared for anything, really, especially since the National Weather Service does have us still have kind of a couple tornadoes possible. I would not rule that. Indiana's weather, we always get some crazy weather, and I still would not rule it. We just literally had a year ago, either I believe it's yesterday or 2 days ago, of the tornado outbreak that happened just, I think it was yesterday, across the state of Indiana just a year ago, hitting actually more closer to home for me over in the Whiteland area where they got a lot of homes destroyed. So that was a year ago, and so it feels like almost exactly the same time frame where we get these severe weather outbreaks right around this time of year. As Timmy said, it's just something that seems to be occurring a lot more frequent in recent years, especially right around the end of March to early April seems to be the heightened point. So that's why I always say severe weather season starts right around the beginning of March, but it's always all year round. So, but either way, severe thunderstorm watch till 3 a.m. this morning, and we'll continue to monitor that throughout the evening. I'll continue talking about this storm that's here in Oklahoma.
That sounded
Well,
good,
yeah.
John.
So back to actually the reason why that watch is goes so late. We were kind of expecting that. Right now we just kind of got these sort of I don't want to say individual, but we have these kind of groups of storms right now, but eventually overnight they're kind of morphing, kind of more or less become, I don't want to say one giant MCS, but I mean, it's pretty complex to be making its way through. Then once that acts go through the day tomorrow, we might see some more destabilization in the atmosphere, especially out across Ohio, and that could make for a very fun. But going back to this storm here, this guy right here. Now, it looks like the original rotation that we were watching is kind of falling apart. But that being said, this thing is recently. I don't see anything. Let me just pull up here, make sure I have it here before I say it. But yeah, it looks we're not sure on this on the correlation coefficient anymore. It wasn't a very strong one to begin with here, but it looks like what we're seeing here uh, is that circulation kind of going down a little bit, but maybe kind of a pocket just a bit to the north here, maybe a little bit of a restructuring with that mesocyclone. Again, way north there of Barnstable, taking a look at this area. That'd be what it does maybe in a few more moments. But yeah, there was an observed tornado on the ground with this thing, but from the look, I would eventually probably lift it at this point. However, being without a visual confirmation, a little tricky to say, and they're still they're observed, so it'd be interesting to see here. Exactly what I mean. The signature is somewhat still there, but it's not as defined as it was. I'll kind of agree to that a little bit here. They're kind of worth watching. Oh, there you go. That is that from an Osage that we were taking a look at, or is this a different one? Let's see what it says. Missouri. Beautiful. That's a shelf cloud, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, it's a beauty.
There's
beauty
your
shelfie
there,
is
rolling
that?
out ahead of
Yeah.
That is a beautiful shelf cloud.
Nice
Very
shelfie.
photogenic. Shelfie. That's what they call them? Shelfies.
Indeed, it is called that.
Oh, you youngins with your hip lingo. Your age, we called it a shelf cloud. Actually, I think you're older. Anyways,
That is true.
it's been a long day, folks.
Tornado
Alrighty.
extended.
Sorry. The graphics over here for St. Louis. I want to take a look at that guy around St. Louis that we were watching just a little bit ago. Still got it on though. Doesn't look as strong. Maybe a little, but it's at least last scan that I had saw of it. Still pretty. Cool. We also got. Can someone look at the storm reports north of Springfield, around the Boulevard area? It looks like they got some more hail reports and some kind of curious what those ones said. When I get this loaded up.
1-1. Russellsville 175. Yep, that's the biggest.
That's almost as big as 1.75 inches, eh?
Yep.
You'd certainly hear that. I've driven through about 1 inch hail before, and that was pretty loud. So about twice the size of that, I'm imagining would be twice as loud. That's what I went to Penn State for, to make that conclusion.
I have to head out, but I will talk to you guys later.
It's like we're gonna play. What's it called now? Who's gonna be the last one? Probably me.
Yeah, Carissa.
Nah, just curious.
Drop out.
It'll just be me. And 3 hours later, I'll just be talking to the cat.
Raccoon.
And that is. She is. She doesn't like the thunderstorms as much. The cat has grown to learn to like them, but not that. Well, would you look at that? Is that a tornado warning for Lebanon, Indiana? Yes, it is. It's going to be until 8:15 p.m.
That-
Well,
And that's
That
actually in
that
Missouri.
that would not be
Wants to
that.
show up St.
That's
Louis.
in Lebanon, Missouri.
Yeah, that's in Lebanon, Missouri. No, we don't
Well,
have
'cause
any
from this
storms
angle,
around here
wow.
quite yet.
I was gonna say, I was really
Not yet,
okay.
not
Hey,
yet.
time out. Now you all know, you all know I'm good with my, you all know I'm good with geography. But from my angle where I was sitting at, and hear me out on this. You know how the beltway around Indianapolis? So for a second, if you look
465.
at the bottom left, I thought that was part of the beltway. But then I was confused
Okay.
because I was like, I thought Lebanon was on the western edge. Okay, that makes more sense. It's actually going to be for that same storm that we were taking a look at, that pretty decent one here. Radar's a little slow to load here at the moment, but we're going to get it up here in just a moment. But in the meantime, do we have a graphic about do we have any other graphics about the current watches here? Because I know we got quite a few going on while this is loading. Translation is, somebody please have something on their screen because I may have to restart this. Anybody at all? Because look, it's either that or I'm just gonna get a picture of my raccoon or something.
You just
I'll
need
do
a
it.
watching.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, keep that up there for a second. I got to restart the radar on my end here. Going through one of these things where it, it's if you have it up for about 20 days in a row, like I do, it gets a little slow after day 20. So I just got to reboot it. Anyways, there's a forecast from the National Weather Service. There we go. Oh, for those of you wondering about your colors, don't ask me why the service is yellow for their Trento watches. It drives me nuts because we use. I was never a big fan of it. For me, yellow was always Fierce Thunderstorm, and red was always Tornado. Right? And if you go to the SPC's website, blue is Severe Thunderstorm. I don't get it. Okay, current device is connected to red. Issue. All right. With that being said, the joys of new and improved technology. All right. That being said, anybody got the radar up on their computer? The reason I asked is that I have a connection limit reached, so somebody may need to log off. Anyways, all right. From here, all things here. I want to give you guys a little bit of the apps up, well, a little bit of the atmospheric setup here on my end. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and we'll pull up our. So there's a warning that is taking a look at that storm that was all the way down in. Well, not that screen. It's our first time doing like 6 people at once, so.
There you go.
Coordinating. There you go. Alrighty, we got that tornado warning that is down around. So we're looking south of Dallas here, near. I am not familiar with that town. Right there, looks like one of those little QLCS lines. A little bit of a there. And yeah, a little bit of a tiny couplet there north of Cleburne. South there at Joshua. Not the strongest signature, but one nonetheless. And are they served or just radar indicated? Do we know? Sweet.
looks like it's radar indicated.
I don't see a tornado warning.
Radar indicated. Awesome.
Yeah, it's radar indicated. Yep.
And we still have that. We have got an next warning up around north there of Tulsa, as well as that one over in Lebanon, Missouri, not Indiana. That gave me really decent on the radar. So, as a matter of fact, one question I have is, can we go to Lebanon? Because that one looks really, really good. It's got a really good signature there. Might be there. It is right there. So just north there of the Buffalo area, and my guess is one of here. But let me double check, see something really, really quickly on the wonder if they're tagging that as still rotated. The reflectivity does not necessarily show as strong of a low level rotation, but my guess is here. Let me go ahead and just check another scan or two. Not that high up. I mean, it certainly is rotating. Not now down at the surface, or at least in the lower levels. But my guess is it if it intensifies a little bit more there. So again, radar indicated right now. It's a very defined hook echo just north of Buffalo. In fact, it's pretty much right where that orange is above the B and the U there. Let's see, there is one. Hey, believe it or not, the report, it's raining. All right. That has been established. That it is raining at least at that location. It's a pretty decent little radar signature there. Again, frontal boundary way right now through the plains. As a matter of fact, if you're at the the surface temperatures and everything, it's actually pretty interesting across Canada. We'll talk about that at a different time. All right, Bartlesville kind of is also included in that tornado warning right now. However, rotation that we're watching is pretty much right in the middle there of that tornado warning. So Bartlesville, and it is extremely. I think they're still at what 60 mile an hour with that guy there. Kind of an east north, and then on top of that, we have that old trend to expire here pretty soon. So again, a little bit of a little I don't know what's the lingo for the last storm on a QLCS line. I always call it the last storm on a QLCS line, but I'm sure for that's probably changed it. You know, when I was younger, it was they call it what was it, a Hook and Charlie's or whatnot. But now it's probably called something different. Anyways, all right. Oh, and last but certainly not least, it's that rotation is still hanging in there. Just Burleson, north of Cleburne. There, we're around Dallas. Actually, I think we're more closer to Fort Worth in this particular location. A little bit of rotation there with that particular thunderstorm, but certainly pretty good there for sure. Alrighty. So with that being said, fun times. Josh, what are we expecting for tomorrow?
What we're expecting for tomorrow? Well, first and foremost, again, a lot of definitely very similar weather happening for tomorrow, if not a little bit more intense. Let me real quick. I'm going to bring up the sort of the essentially the models or actually let me bring up the SPC. Kind of what they're expecting for tomorrow, because that's always important to talk about. Let me real quick get these outlooks up and running here. Let's see, day 2, that would be for tomorrow. Let me go ahead then share my screen here for us. Give me a moment here. Apologize for that. Let's see. All right, let's see. We'll do that. Where's that at? There we go. Gosh darn it. Give me a moment. We may see double here for a second, just because I only got one screen, sadly. So give me a moment. Here we go. Okay. All right. So hopefully everybody's seeing this. So this is the Storm Prediction Center, and basically in Norman, Oklahoma. This is the severe weather outlook for tomorrow. This whole system is supposed to be pushing a lot more eastward towards the Ohio River Valley areas like Ohio, Illinois, or Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi. Pretty much everything where you see here. Pretty much the highest would be our moderate risk for severe weather. Pretty much bullseye right over here in Ohio, and as well as bits and pieces of Indiana. The enhanced risk, which is a level 3, is covering a little bit more of Indiana, extending all the way down to Kentucky, Tennessee, and the upper part of Alabama. And then, of course, you've got pretty much your slight risk for severe weather dotting around on the outsides, and then you have your marginal risk there. Kind of breaking it down a little bit, tornado possibilities. The biggest area that's outlined here is in the hash marks. Anywhere in this area can have that probability and possibility of tornadoes. Again, specifically in the Ohio state of Ohio, and then bits and pieces of Indiana, all the way down here to Alabama and kind of Tennessee area. Winds, again, if you're expecting tornadoes, you're going to expect winds as well. So pretty much the same area that we're going to see some intense winds or some tornadoes, we should expect some wind as well. And then, of course, you've got your hail and more focus up here in Ohio and a little bit in Indiana. And again, hail a lot of times associated with essentially supercell thunderstorms, individual thunderstorms like that you would notice seeing that. But of course, that can also happen with a line as well. And so that's kind of what we're expecting for tomorrow is pretty much everything moving more eastward. Now, according to the models, a lot of people are seeing a lot more of activity, even more back towards here in the central parts of Indiana, kind of basically where that line is going to begin. So we're going to have to watch out to see if the Storm Prediction Center sort of updates this, and they should, in the early morning hours, they're going to be updating this. So with more weather data coming in, we're probably going to see more of a westward shift to this just a little bit. Again, it's more of a precaution. We'll probably see more of a broader area, maybe a little bit more specifics, but still, it's something that I'm sure that the Storm Prediction Center is looking at as we continue going through the evening hours and eventually seeing that progress. But these are pretty much the areas that we need to look out for, specifically in Ohio. I know that Timmy is actually taking a trip to Ohio for that purpose of taking a look at some storms. So if we do go live, we're going to try to attempt to connect with him to see if he can give us some live updates of what he's experiencing and what's going on. Whoops, sorry about that. That I stopped share that. I know that was nuts. I know that was nuts there. Looked like in the Matrix there for a second. Again, I'm operating on one screen, so that's what happens every once in a while when that can happen. But expect a lot more intense weather. Again, it's going to be more in the Ohio River Valley area. And again, this whole system's pushing eastward. And once this system's done, there's going to be this low pressure moves through. It's going to be a lot of wraparound. I'm going to real quick see if I can pull up some pivotal weather. Well, actually, I'll just real quick go to the College of DuPage real quick to kind of see if I can pull up something to show us kind of the, let's see, precipitation simulated activity. Let me real quick share my screen again. It does look like we got another tornado warning indicated for what looks like Nowata, Oklahoma, as well as Delaware, Oklahoma, and New all away Oklahoma until 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So it looks like we're in the midst of another tornado warning there, if not an extension of the tornado warning that we've seen. We'll take a look at that in just a few moments. Let me real quick. I wanted to share. Where am I? Okay. Here we go. Let me share my screen here again, real quickly. Actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Give me a second. I'm going to move this to a new window so that way it doesn't like double go all over the place here. Because that's not always.
Let it go all over.
Let's see. Give me a second. Let me. Not now. Okay. Let me share it one more time. This should work. There we go. Wow. Okay. All right. So Now you can see this is the sort of simulated reflectivity, kind of simulated throughout the next, I'd say, 24 to 36 hours. So again, this system is going to progressively move eastward. It definitely, a lot of rain is going to be falling through this, which is why we do have some flood watches in effect, especially for Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois. And then as we're pushing forward through time, you can see some of these storms kind of ripping through a little bit. This is early morning tomorrow morning, Tuesday. And eventually things kind of clear out for just a little bit. And then here's kind of the main line here. And it kind of just kind of stops and peters there for the, let me see if I can find, whoops, let me go to the 18Z here. This will extend it out a little bit further.
Yeah.
So you can see that that line of storms here that they were talking about with the severe weather for tomorrow starts to form here in Indiana right around maybe 4 or 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And that's where we're going to really have to kind of watch out for those. And again, I'm really thinking the SPC is going to be pushing things a little bit farther westward, just because, again, this initial line, if they initialize a little bit and quicker and stronger, we might see a little bit of severe weather. But really, what is the main concern is really this line here that's going to be coming in early Wednesday morning, going into Ohio, and that's going to be kind of scary, really, because that's kind of what worries me. This will be late. This will happen late Tuesday night into Wednesday, and again, this is kind of the worrisome thing, because that's when it's going to start getting dark. Right around that time, and again, tornadoes in the dark are not always fun. Severe weather in the dark is not always fun. So that's why we've got the Storm Prediction Center issuing all these things, and of course eventually it'll progress east. But I tell you what, if you look at this nice little spin on this low pressure system. I mean, it is a very powerful low pressure system that's pushing through. That's why we're getting such I'd say extreme weather, if you would, with these strong thunderstorms in front of this low pressure system. But looking at, because I looked at this earlier, looking at the precipitation, if you're going farther north into Wisconsin area, you're going to be seeing some mixtures and maybe perhaps even some snow showers pushing through. That's how powerful the cold front is, because you look, here's this cooler air, the 540 line in meteorology. We talk a lot about this, is that's the line that sort of gives us a insight of, oh, hey, up in the atmosphere, it's going to start really, really freezing, and the possibility of freezing precipitation towards the surface can happen. Not always, but it can happen. And that's something that we look at just to kind of give us a measure. But you can obviously tell colder temperatures behind this front, again, very powerful cold front. We might see some scattered snow showers or even flurries here in Indiana, maybe coming into Wednesday, just a little bit. But right now, obviously, it shows rain. But we could see that potential coming up afterwards and whatnot. So again, it's crazy weather, going from severe weather all the way to even some snow showers, especially in Illinois. I mean, that just shows you how powerful the cold air is trying to push down. Again, winter does not want to give up. That's the biggest key here. Is winter doesn't want to give up. It wants to continue pounding. Well, do what now?
Winter, it never seemed like it showed up to begin with.
Well, that's true. That's true. And again, we've been seeing this, but taking a look now, I mean, look at this golf ball to tennis size softball or tennis ball size hail. Wow. In Texas. Goodness gracious. I mean, that's the, to be honest with you, it's not so much about the tornadoes. It's been about the hail with all of these storms, I mean, that's all I've been hearing for the past, and even looking at for the past several days. It's just hail, hail, hail. That's what we've been really looking at, is just a bunch of hail. So, I mean, that's the biggest risk right now that we've been seeing. So, but that's what we're expecting tomorrow and in the coming next couple of days. Severe weather pushing through Ohio River Valley, and moving eastward. And then once that cold front passes through, or once that low pressure, you're going to get some wraparound, maybe some showers or whatnot, that's going to head into parts of Wisconsin, Illinois, and maybe even sometimes even parts of Michigan as well. So, and again, insane weather. But it just shows you how powerful the low pressure system is pushing, and that's why we're getting so much severe weather ahead of this whole low pressure system. It's insane stuff.
I don't think it's going to slow down. Just looking at the computer models, we've got, this weekend we'll have another line of storms come through western Kansas. It looks like there could be severe weather, fire, and potential for snow again with that one. And it looks like behind that, there's two more through the middle of the month, the 15th. So we're going to be pretty busy doing this the next 2 weeks. It looks like four storms that we could be going clear across the Midwest.
We do have a comment actually from Facebook. Alex Strauss writes to us, Ohio resident here. When can we expect this event to start? I mean, obviously, right now there are some storms that are here in Indiana that'll eventually make their way over to Ohio. But really, I think the bulk of the storms, particularly with tomorrow, will probably start right around maybe the early evening hours to the late evening hours on tomorrow evening, and kind of progress through at least the early morning hours into Wednesday. And so again, that's for me as a meteorologist, for me in general, just looking at weather, I'm always concerned about nighttime severe weather. The best things that you can do is always make sure that you have a weather radio ready to go, or if you don't have one, make sure that you have your your notifications set on your phone, because it can always be life-saving, and just be ready, and always, as I say, be weather aware of what's going to happen. And so that's why we're here. We're here to tell you guys exactly what's going on and what's around the areas that are going to be affected, because if we tell you ahead of time, you guys will be ready to go. So good question, Alex. I hope we answered that question for you. We'll definitely be doing more updates as we continue to get closer and closer to the time event, especially tomorrow afternoon and evening hours. But yeah, that should be kind of where we're going to be at that point. So
You might mention our Weather Valet phone app too, for to get to see these on Facebook. We're each covering our own state, and we've got time, but we're covering the phone app. And if people would send those subscribe to the app and send us the messages, they'll make sure it goes directly to a meteorologist that's on staff, and we can answer these in a timely fashion. So that's going to be something that's really unique about what we're doing here, is our communication through our app. It's not like where you're getting model data and that. You can ask us specific questions, and we can push that information to people too that are watching and listening, and from not just one state. We can cover multiple states with that.
And that's 24/7, and we're going to try to have meteorologists cover that information as much as we can to answer your questions. And again, it's called Weather Valet. It's subscription based. We take both individuals as well as businesses, and whatever we can do to help you guys out, we're here for you. No matter if it's going to be during the severe weather season or the winter season, we're going to be here to help you guys out the best we can to fit your needs. So. If you're interested, make sure you go to our website and check that out. And if you want more information, always email us as well, contact us, and we're happy to answer your questions on that. And again, we're hoping that whatever we're doing, whether that streaming or our weather consulting business, we're more than happy to just relay that information to you guys to keep you guys safe and prepared for whatever weather heads your way.
Absolutely.
I just noticed my name is the only one with all capital letters. No, yeah. So we are trying to get the we got the app and everything. Josh, you forgot to mention too that we are working also on a possibility of getting that app available for the raccoons too. The dumpster diving. That was a joke. I had to bring my raccoon up.
Are you
It's been a long day, folks.
Taking him to Ohio?
Are
you really taking him to Ohio?
No. Are you kidding? No. She don't want to do the trip. She don't want to do road trip. Made that decision about a year ago, and she didn't want to go on a road trip. And I have enough scars as it is. I don't need no more road trips. The cat, maybe, but the cat has traveled quite a bit. In fact, She's been to quite a few states actually, just by default. One thing here, and then I don't know if you guys want to wrap it up. I know I'm piecing out here because I gotta get up early, do driving.
Yep.
Yes.
Um,
30.
Yeah. Sadly, my battery is starting to die on my laptop, and I'm not near my office. So sadly, my
can you hear?
can't. So I can't get my charger, but so I'll probably be exiting out here shortly as well.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna sign out. But
Yeah,
this
and so like
this all phenomenal though.
yeah, and also so that cell that we were talking about down near Springfield, it's actually weekend. It looks like I'll share my screen here.
Yeah, it does
I
look like
got
it
one
shifted
for
to
you.
a.
Once you-
It
It's
does look like
actually
it shifted to a severe thunderstorm warning at this point.
Yeah, it's actually weekend. Like the hook isn't as severe. And going back to some storm reports, there were some 2-inch hail reports, which was pretty nuts. And obviously, we're still waiting on reports, that are going to be east of Springfield. So we'll see what those are. But I imagine we'll see more 2-inch hail reports.
So going back to the ones, the one that we were watching around the Nowata area, Delaware, way north up near the Kansas state line there. We were to look at it. It looked like its rotation had gone down a little bit, but it was in a process, and it looks like it has recycled up again. As a fact, if you could pull up my radar, oh wait, I should probably share it. What problem? Because remember, I had to go through that whole thing where I had to restart it. All right. Pull up my radar though. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at this. We actually have 2 active tornado across parts of northwestern Oklahoma. Now, did actually get a tornado report, at least public reported, and this is going to be northwest Tulsa area out in Osage County. And basically, I don't necessarily see that signature quite, as much anymore. This thing back a little bit here. It did kind of have a signature on it just a little bit ago. And again, see it right there, a little hook that was on that there. You saw it a little bit on the block. Again, public report. There was tornado there. It looks primarily Hominy, or southeast of the Hominy area. But again, latest radar suggests that rotation not quite as there anymore, kind of falling apart. Might still be still somewhat of a little bit of maybe a ragged wall out here on that guy, but for the most part, that rotation not looking quite as impressive as just a few moments ago. But again, I think that would be our first tornado report of the night. Probably a little quick one there. Let's take a look at that we are watching, and there it is again. It has kind of cycled back up just here. This one again, northwest of the Delaware area. On the front of that, there you got this little QLCS line coming through. A lot of little winds going on there. So again, it's kind of spun itself back up. Let's see here. One thing looks like that they were still as radar indicated. And what's interesting is that it's actually kind of on the northern edge of the. It looks like it has kind of, like I said, jogged a little bit more to the north. So I'd be interested to see if maybe that warning or maybe adjust it to be a little bit more to the north. However, if we take a look at this line as a whole, though, there be some other additional pockets, but again, for right now, this is kind of main one right here. And again, it's just north there of the Delaware area, but it is tagged as radar. It does not look like we've had an observation yet. Now, mind you, it's now. So might not necessarily get too much of a visual confirmation. As we take a look here at our good old friend, the correlation coefficient.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but I'm gonna have to jump out of here. My battery is pretty much saying, or my computer's saying, "Hey, can't do this anymore." So I do apologize on that.
You're
But
good.
hey, you guys take care,
anyway.
and I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.
Look at me here, and I don't think that is an actual. That's a signature. that might just be a full carries over. But my guess is if we're looking maybe right here, it does kind of seem like it lines up, but it just seems so. But anyways, that's the area that we're watching there. Again, looks like, if it's anything like its predecessor, it might not hold out for too long, but parent rotation's still there, obviously. And again, area it might be blowing out a little bit, so there may be some gusty winds with that storm too. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to do it for me for tonight. If you guys want to hang around, you're
All right,
more
well,
than
thanks,
welcome
Chris.
to. But if not, we're going to go.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, well, yeah, and also, yeah, just yeah. So I'm like, in terms of like what's going to happen, just like I know, like stay updated throughout the evening, and I'll like now, because there's still going to be more storms that fire up supposedly, but I'm like, it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. But yeah, all right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Down to you.